Just really great road. 917 going through the Keene, Burleson, Joshua area. It's got a decent amount of traffic on it though, but you can usually have a pretty good ride on it. Asphalt's in good shape, not any like big holes in the ground or anything like that. Nice road. Riveting content sitting at a stoplight. I'll skip all of this, but I did want to mention there's a really nice diner right there on the intersection here of 917 and 174 Wilshire going through Burleson. Really nice place. Great breakfast food. You know how those diners are, you know. So I did want to talk a little bit today about commuting on a motorcycle. It's something I've been considering. I don't know. Part of me feels like this. I mean, I obviously could do it on this Tiger, but that's not really what this is meant for. This is meant for, you know, some adventure style riding, obviously. But you know, I bought the road model because it's good for trips. I can put a bunch of bags on it if I want to. I've got a top case for it. I've gone camping on this thing several times. A lot of out-of-town trips to meet up with my dad and other family, but it can be a little cumbersome. It is a larger frame. What I'm looking for is a naked bike. I went through a couple of different options and started comparing some different models, newer models coming out all the time. So I'll put a link to that video right up here. So go ahead and check that out. All the different models that I'm considering. Obviously, I love Triumphs. So the leader right now is the Trident 660. Oop. I've ridden that one. It was a lot of fun. Also ridden a T120. That was a lot of fun. That's not really a naked bike. It's more of a standard bike. But a couple of different options I'm looking at. The Aprilia Tuono, that one's got more of a sporty look and feel to it, obviously with all the, you know, it's got a lot more fairings. Ooh, water's low. I'd like to ride one, see what the riding position is like. I like more of an upright riding style. I don't want to be, you know, lean over the handlebars or anything like that. So definitely nothing with clip-ons. I don't want a sport bike. But the Trident seems really comfortable. So I'm going to keep going through a couple different options. One of the other things that's really neat about the Trident is it's affordable. You know, it's $8,500, $9,000 US. So not going to break the bank, you know. But anyway, so looking through a couple different options there. But I am curious how many of you commute to work on your motorcycle, or if it's just your, you know, around town for fun, or trips, or weekend rides. Curious to know. I think for me, the biggest concern about commuting on the bike would be, obviously, you know, weather. You know, you can buy rain gear and all that, but I don't know, something about riding in the rain seems like an additional hazard that's not really necessary. But I guess I could just drive the truck on those days. Obviously in Texas there are days that are really hot. Of course, I've got a lot of vented gear, which is fine. I've ridden on, you know, 100+ degree days, and once you're moving, it's okay. You know, stoplights and stop signs and things like that, traffic are a pain, but I don't have to deal with a ton of that on the route that I take to work. If I'm going through town, only a few, you know, handful of lights. But I've also got a toll road that I could take that's pretty much a straight shot there. Hardly ever hit any traffic on that. Then you're talking highway speeds. One of the things I like about the naked bike would be, you know, no fairings and no windscreen. This windscreen is fantastic for highway and long distance traveling. This is one of the National Cycle V Streams. I think this is the mid model. They have a super tall one, but I don't want to look through a windshield. I like looking over the top of this, but the height on it is great so that the wind kind of goes up around me. So it's really nice. I did a review for this windscreen a long time ago, so I'll post that video. It seems like everything I'm doing is into the sun this morning, which is odd because I was riding west. Anyway, one of the other things I wanted to check out this morning was some new camera settings for my GoPro. I'm using the GoPro Hero 6. I've had it for several years and has not given me any reason to put my visor down. There we go. Has not given me any reason to replace it. It does 4K, it does 120 frames a second, not at the same time, but it will do both of those things. Right now I'm shooting in 2.7K at 60 frames a second. My other videos have been at either 29 or 30 frames, but I wanted to check out the 60 frames and see what that looks like. I know the 30 frames gives you more of a natural motion blur, but I don't know, there's just something about 60 frames that just looks really good to me. I think it's probably the speed sensation for the viewer is probably going to be a little bit slower because you don't get that motion blur, but I think it will have a clearer picture. I guess we'll find out, won't we? I'm really interested to see what this looks like. If you've got any comments on the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames as a viewer, if you prefer that motion blur, or if you prefer the smoother, cleaner picture, I'd definitely be interested to hear your thoughts on that. So go ahead and leave a comment below. I definitely feel it's starting to warm up a little bit. About 81 now. Good corners in. Nice, calm morning ride. This is interesting. So I'm using this new app called Scenic, where I can do all of my routes on my iPad, and it saves to a cloud. I can easily pull it up on my cell phone and go on a ride. It does do turn-by-turn navigation, but you have to pay for it. I can just do follow-the-line navigation. You just gotta, check it every once in a while, but that's fine, not a big deal. This is the second time I've used it, and it works out pretty well. I do like the convenience of being able to just, put all my routes on my iPad. You can do waypoints and things very easily. I don't know that I'd say it's easier than the Garmin. Probably easier to learn to use than the Garmin software that I used to use for my actual GPS unit that I had. But it's just different. The waypoints are a little more difficult to move once you've set it. You can delete it easily and set a new one, but moving it is a little clunky. On the Garmin software, I can just, on my computer, I can just click and drag the line where I want it to go, and it'll create a new waypoint. Which is easy and convenient. So it's not terrible, but it does the job. I have not yet used it on a longer ride, just kind of around town. The first time I did it, I did a little like 100-mile loop around Cleburne, Joshua, Alvarado area, and it worked flawlessly. Like I said, I'm not paying for the turn-by-turn, but just you glance at it and see where your next road is you need to turn. You can see pretty well ahead. So I like it. I'm going to keep using it for a while. The app itself is free. I didn't pay for anything. I like free. And like I said, I can do... Oh, it didn't want me to turn there. So that's part of it, is can turn here. See if this takes me where I want to go. Yep, so I wasn't paying attention and missed my turn. That's okay. Which is ironic. It's just when I was talking about one of the things I don't like about the software is the turn-by-turn you have to pay for. So, that was perfect. Anyway, I'll just take this down to Buffalo and go back across. Get back on my route. But anyway, the thing that I do really like about it is super easy to do routes. With my Garmin, I would have to take my my laptop with me and you know, plug it in, do my waypoints on the map, download it. That was kind of a pain. I know I could just go right, but I want to go left so I can get back on my route because I want to see what all it tells me at the end. It does do ride review data at the end, so we'll see if how much distance I added by my little detour here. So I'll go back over to my route and head up. But anyway, like I was saying, it's so easy to do routes. If I'm out somewhere and I want to do a new route to someplace I wasn't anticipating on going to on a ride, then it's very easy to, you know, like I said, pull out my iPad, or you can even do it on your phone. I just like having the bigger screen on the iPad. Set your route and save it, and you're good to go. All right, here we are at the Sunrise Cafe. Ooh, looking busy this morning. Alright, I'm gonna go in and have some breakfast. I'll catch y'all afterwards. Alright, all done at the Sunrise Cafe. Awesome breakfast. Love this place. If you're ever down in Cleburne, definitely check it out. I'll post a picture of the menu. Has the address and stuff on it, but you can find it on Google too. Totally awesome place. Highly recommend. Now for the ride home. So I'm glad I took that road back to try to get to where I was going, because if I hadn't, I would have missed the diner. Because the route I did, I just did pretty much a loop back to my place. I didn't do one route to the diner and then another route to the house. So I'm glad that I made the decision to go back that direction, because I would have gotten halfway home and be like, where the heck was the diner? So glad I did that. Totally worth the trip. Awesome breakfast. It got about 10 degrees hotter while I was in there. We're sitting at 91 now. It is almost noon. That's not too bad though. For September in Texas, could be worse, could be worse. Cleburne's a nice little town. Got a good downtown area. Pat Cleburne Lake is not too far from here. Good lake to get on the boat. Free ramps, don't have to pay to get on the lake, which is super nice. Now it's saying it's 86 degrees. Okay, maybe it didn't get as hot as I thought. Definitely didn't feel like it was that much hotter. Alright, well now we're coming up to the end of our trip here on 917. I am gonna head back home. Thank you all for joining me. I'll catch you next time. Keep the shiny side up.